Last night's high-stakes vice presidential debate, Tim Walz and J.D. Vance faced off with the race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump neck and neck. Mary Bruce and John Carl are standing by with the reaction. But first, Rachel Scott is here to start us off with the highlights. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, good morning to you, Michael. Look, no name calling, no personal insults, but there were sharp divides over policy, and the stakes were unusually high here. We are just 34 days out from the November election. This race is locked in a dead heat, and with no other debates scheduled, it is the vice presidential candidates that got the final word. Overnight, in what is likely the last debate before the November election, the two vice presidential candidates sparring over the results of the last election, with Senator J.D. Vance refusing to admit his running mate, Donald Trump, lost.
This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz challenging Vance to admit Trump was defeated, pointing out Trump's former vice president Mike Pence wasn't on the debate stage because he stood up to him on January 6.
That's why Mike Pence isn't on this stage. What I'm concerned about is, where is the firewall with Donald Trump? Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking you, America. Will you stand up? Will you keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't?
Much of the debate was civil and cordial, focused on policy, from immigration to abortion rights.
That is, I think, whether you're pro-choice or pro-abortion.
Walz got off to a shaky start, appearing nervous, at one point mixing up Israel and Iran.
The expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there.
Both candidates asked to explain their past comments. Walz asked about false claims he made that he was in Hong Kong during the democracy protests back in 1989.
I'm a knucklehead at times. All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests, went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
And Vance pressed on his own words from 2016, claiming Trump was unfit for the nation's highest office.
Sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president, but I've also been extremely open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump.
Vance was more measured than he has been on the campaign trail. After amplifying false claims that Haitian migrants in his home state of Ohio were eating neighborhood pets, the Ohio senator now shying away from it on the debate stage. But after a tense exchange on the issue, the moderators muting the candidates' microphones, Vance cut off.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process.
The other major issue, abortion rights. Walz placing the blame squarely on Donald Trump for sweeping abortion restrictions in nearly 24 states, telling the stories of women impacted by the bans.
How can we as a nation say that your life and your rights, as basic as the right to control your own body, is determined on geography?
Donald Trump has bragged about appointing 3 of the Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. But Vance acknowledging Republicans have to do better on this issue.
My party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word.
Yeah, the Trump campaign trying to make some inroads with likely female voters. So this debate was civil. At times, these two candidates even acknowledge where they have common ground. It was a much different tone from the last 2 presidential debates. But Donald Trump is holding firm. He made it clear again he is not interested in another debate, with Vice President Kamala Harris calling it too late, even though he has participated in debates in late October in both 2016 and 2020, George.
Okay, Rachel, thanks.